All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Today's installment of my 6 Pro series of job search webinars. Today we'll be talking about advanced social media marketing techniques, specifically about how to turn your LinkedIn profile into an employer magnet. And we'll also cover today something that really wasn't on the agenda originally, but how to use LinkedIn to research the right companies and research the right people within those companies. And I think that that's a very important addition. So to help me share this information today, I've invited Will Gladhart. You just heard from him, of Gladhart Consulting, and he's a business content provider and an author, social media expert, online marketing expert. And if you listened to the webinar 2 weeks ago, you heard him talk about Twitter, and he's an amazing authority. And what he does for a living is help businesses leverage the tool of social media and internet tools to increase their customer base and their ultimate impact to their bottom line. His website, if you ever want to check it out, is willgladhart.com, and he'll be part of our discussion today to help us go through a number of ways to use LinkedIn more than what most six-figure job seekers do. So we'll talk about how to really expand your knowledge of LinkedIn and how to use it most effectively. Will, so greetings. Hi.
Hi, Tammy. Well, thank you for including me again on the call today, and I look forward to the discussion because LinkedIn is a great networking tool, not only for business executives but for any job seeker, and it's really a fantastic platform to help you find not only great information about companies and do research, but also for a way for you to have your profile online that can expand beyond just a simple one-page resume. And, Tammy, I've been doing digital work in the marketing realm for the last 10-plus years, as well as 4 to 5 specifically focusing on social media to enhance companies' brand, like you mentioned, and increase their online presence and engage consumers. So I look forward to sharing some of the knowledge that I have gained in working with LinkedIn with the callers today.
Yeah, and also I think if anybody wants to listen to the replay of the Twitter, you were just amazing a couple of weeks ago in giving us information on how to use Twitter. So I'm really looking forward to kind of picking your brain today and sharing that information with everybody.
Well, thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome. So let me introduce myself, because I know that there were about 3 dozen people that signed up for the webinars since last time. So if you're not familiar with me, I'm Tammy Kabell. I am a job search strategist, resume writer, and I run an executive career firm called Career Resume Consulting. I work with six-figure people. You don't have to make 6 figures, but you want to make 6 figures and are well-positioned for that to work with my firm. That's who I best work with. I've spent a little over 8 years, actually almost 9 years, as an expert in the career field, and I've had a total of 18 years as a hiring manager, so I've been on the other side of the desk. And right now I'm the resident job search expert for KCMO 710 AM radio, and I host a Monday morning job search minute every Monday at around 7:50 in the morning. And I'm also proud to say that I'm pretty much one of the best in the business, and I've become a national authority on executive search strategies, and I've been featured in the Wall Street Journal multiple times, and MSNBC and Monster, Career Builder, The Ladders, Casey Star, lots of other dozens of online paper and publications. So before we get started, I want to give you just a few housekeeping items. In this webinar, if you're listening online and you have a question anytime during the hour, go ahead and type it in on the screen on the lower left-hand side. So there's a little box there that allows you to type in a question, and it pops up on my screen, and we'll be taking some Q&A at the end of this call. So if you do have a question, feel free to type it in at any time, and then I'll answer it during the Q&A session. If you're on the phone, and it looks like we do have a lot of people on the phone this morning, go ahead and press *2 if you have a question, and that will raise your hand, and then I can unmute you. Right now, everybody's muted except for Will and I, so if you're coughing and sneezing because of a fall cold, don't worry about it. We can't hear you. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to tell you why I'm putting this seminar together, teleseminar. It's mainly for people who feel like they could really use a LinkedIn overhaul. And I know a lot of my clients, when I start working with them, they have a relatively weak LinkedIn profile. A lot of people feel that way, even at an executive level. So if you haven't been using LinkedIn to the best of its ability, and also you don't know how to use it to find decision makers in search for a high-paying job, then that's really who this teleseminar is for, who this webinar is for. So I think that you'll get a lot of information if that's where you're at right now. So let's dive into today's topic. What most people feel LinkedIn is for, or really what it started out to be, is really connections. So like a big networking room where you have friends or associates that you have linked with in a first-level degree. And I may be speaking basics here because there are some people that haven't used LinkedIn. I can tell you it's very essential to use LinkedIn these days. It really is absolutely a given that you've got a LinkedIn profile. But it started as let's introduce my friends to other friends, associates, and maybe we can make some inroads to people that we didn't really know before. And so you can ask for connections for people that you've worked with, worked for, customers, vendors, suppliers, anybody that you've really worked with, you can connect with on LinkedIn, and then they have connections. So all of their connections are second-level connections, and all of those connections have connections, and those are third-level connections. After that, there aren't connections, but there is a huge, massive amount of information on LinkedIn with, I don't even remember how many millions of people that are on LinkedIn. It's really, really big. So it's important that you have one. Most people see it as a way to make introductions from one person to another. So if you're wanting to get into a specific company and you know somebody, then you can ask your friend or associate to make an introduction to their friend or associate. The problem with that is that in real life, that may work with a second-level connection. You know, you can have someone that you have a good relationship with, that you've worked with, make an introduction. But at a third-level connection, it's really difficult to do that because that second-level person doesn't know you, and it's really hard to talk them into making a good connection with one of their friends. So it really is just useful connecting with people one-on-one on that second-level connection. However, I feel that really it's best used in two different ways. One is you make yourself attractive to recruiters and employers that are looking for you, so you really have a robust LinkedIn profile that tells a lot about you, but more importantly is very compelling to them and makes them want to call you. So that's the first thing. But secondly, I love it as a research tool. So it's really nice that you can go out and find about companies, and you can find, more importantly, the right people within companies to send your resume to that will really get you noticed beyond just applying for posted positions online. Does that make sense? And as we go forward on this, I would love for you to play along at home and look at Will's profile on LinkedIn. And Will, do you want to give them your LinkedIn profile and what they should be typing into their internet search field so that they can look at an example as we're going through this?
Sure, absolutely. The website is LinkedIn.com/IN/Will Gladhart, and that's WILLGLADHART. And if you actually aren't signed up on LinkedIn, when you first come to my profile page, it's going to give you just a very basic information, and you will not be able to see all the other elements that Tammy and I are going to discuss. But I would probably guess most of our callers do have a LinkedIn page, so what you'll want to do is when you type in that web address is click on the View Full Profile button, and up at the upper left corner of the page, and you'll be able to see my full profile as it appears online, or as a company would look at it as a potential employer. And for today's seminar, Tammy asked me to kind of retweak my profile in order to share with the callers as well as the listeners online how potentially a professional job seeker profile could look. So we're going to cover some of those sections. So Tammy, do you want to kick off some of the elements of the LinkedIn profile, or I can cover those, either or?
Why don't you cover it? I mean, let's just go down yours since we're looking at it. Why don't we just take it from the top and go down to the bottom so that people understand what the basic elements are of a LinkedIn profile page?
Okay. Well, when you first pull up the LinkedIn profile page, you're going to see kind of a feature box, which includes my name, a headshot, as well as title of the business, or current employer, or a past employer, and then it's going to have some information. It's basically this little box is your career snapshot. It's your current and past employers, your education, the connections you have on LinkedIn, as well as your company website or your business website or any social media connections that you have. And then as you scroll down the page, there is the summary section, which is self-explanatory, is the kind of your bio about yourself. But this is Tammy and I will get into this a little later about the critical elements that are going to be in the summary. Then as you go further down, experience, which is basically your job history. Then you'll scroll a little further down and education, self-explanatory. And then something that you typically would not see on your standard one-page resume is additional information. And this is a really great way to enhance your LinkedIn profile and tell people more about you, so you can include your company website, a link to maybe an interest of yours, or whatever business related. And then scrolling further down, your groups and associations. Maybe you belong to certain groups in your community or online. And then as you scroll further down, you'll also see the job clubs and or association groups or discussion groups that I'm part of here in Kansas City. And then honors and awards. And if you continue down the page, you'll notice I specifically included some enhancements, which are I included my WordPress blog, as well as a connection to SlideShare, which is a link to all my presentations online. So that's kind of a quick rundown, Tammy. It's a lot of information for people to kind of look through, but it gives you an idea of a way you can really bump up your profile and enhance it in order to get a potential employer interested once they have chosen to give you a call from your resume and have researched you a little further online.
Exactly, and I think you missed one element, and that is the personal
Did I?
So that we can birthday
yes.
is October.
How to get a hold of Yes, it is.
Is it really today?
Yes, it is. I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
I did not know that. That's awesome. Okay, well, happy birthday. What a wonderful birthday present that you're sharing with us today.
Oh, well, thanks.
Awesome.
No, it's my pleasure.
And just a few things to note as we're going through this. As we go up to the top, I like the fact that if you're on Twitter, your last Twitter tweet is up there, and it'll stay up there in your profile until you make a new tweet, basically. And going through, you can see that Will has 280 connections, which is about 100 more than I have, so congratulations on that. Something else to note, too, if you don't have a company website or a business website, you can put an online resume up there as your personal website, too, and that can give even more information if you wanted to put together an online resume. But it also allows people to follow you on Twitter immediately, and you can see his public profile link up there. But let's go ahead and start with the summary. I'd like to spend a little bit of time on how to put together a compelling summary.